offer unique advantages and disadvantages, and making an informed decision is really essential for career success, career satisfaction, and that's what we all hope for. Joining us today to explore this topic is an expert blockchain careers. His name is Enoch Daniel. He's a tech lead, CTO, and a full stack blockchain developer known for his expertise in Web3 development and education. Now, he has a really diverse professional background spanning freelance work, company roles, Web3 consulting, and he brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to every project he undertakes. Now, his versatility allows him to adapt to various environments from startups to established enterprises, and he's always driving innovation and excellence. Now, you can check him out on X at Enoch_Daniel if you have questions about today's topic. And of course, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you would like to make sure you don't miss a thing right here on the Blockchain Mastery Podcast. Now, Enoch is already here. Hi, Enoch. How's it
Hi.
going? Good
Yeah, absolutely.
afternoon. It's great to have
Yeah,
you here. It's really great to have
yeah, it is.
All right, so you need to let us in on how this all began for you. How did you get involved in blockchain development and Web3? Let us know.
Okay. I got started in Web3 or blockchain. I think in 2017, 2018, thereabout. It was during the time of this MMM scam and stuff like that. So my mom was kind of into some of all those referral stuff. So something just led to her joining one of those supposedly businesses or investment schemes that led me to want to know more about crypto. They said they were into mining Bitcoin, so that just sparked my curiosity. Then I think that was when I started mining Bitcoin. I tried to mine Bitcoin with my laptop then. My laptop got spoiled because Bitcoin was hard to mine. So I think from there on, then a few years down the line, I started blockchain development. Then that brought me here.
Honestly, your story is similar to that of so many people who got into this. They just either stumbled upon it, or they heard that someone got scammed, or they heard that there was this maybe pyramid scheme or something
Yeah,
like that that involved someone or some company or the other. But then it led to like a window of opportunity for those who are willing to learn more,
yeah.
right? So, but you need to let us know the key learnings, the key takeaways that you grabbed early on from the industry.
Okay. So I think, to be honest, one of the first things I learned was how can I how can I make money? That was like the first thing. There was really no drive to want to build on it because prior to then I was already a developer, but I was more of like, oh, they said there's money in this thing, so let me try it out. How can I make money? So I tried wanting to trade with Bitcoin, but I couldn't get enough funds. So the next thing was trying to mine. So, but over the time, I think I began to Bitcoin began to shape the way I actually thought about the world, in sense of why should one person have the power to determine how and where and how well I spend my money? um why can't I just have the full power and just have it in my wallet, and then I can spend it whenever I want to spend? So after getting intrigued by or learning that, then next thing was, okay, I think I should look into creating my first coin. So me trying, then, okay, let me see if I can do it. Then people were discouraging me that, oh, that creating a Bitcoin fork is quite hard because it requires you to know a lot of low level languages and stuff like that. So I just decided that, oh, let me just stick to my previous knowledge on knowing the basics, my basic Web2 knowledge, and leaving the whole Bitcoin leaving the whole Bitcoin ecosystem. But I didn't really leave, but just leaving the whole development. So I just continued with just learning how to trade. Then along the line, I heard of DeFi farming. So I think that was where I was like, oh, I really don't care I really don't care whether it's hard or not. I'll just take my time to actually learn this. So so then there was this pop-ups on YouTube on making money. So I saw DeFi farming and yield farming. So I was like, oh, what is this all about? So I started reading. So from there, I started learning about solidity. Then from there, I wasn't still very much involved because I wasn't really sure if it's something that could really make some money. And even when I even watched the DeFi farming videos, they're telling me I needed $50, $100, and where do I have that kind of money to even invest? So then I moved my coding stack from PHP to full JavaScript. So immediately I moved to JavaScript. I think 1 week later, a friend contacted me. I was like, oh, like, can I do a Uniswap fork? I was like, oh, I've not done it before, but let's bring it over. I'll try it. So immediately I tried it. Then that was like the beginning of my full entrance into Web3 space. Then I started getting calls from people.
I was
Yeah.
I was going to ask
Yeah.
about that. A lot of people who had a lot of appointment in the basics in Web 2, and even working in blockchain, trying to trade, trying to mine. As soon as Web 3 came along, it was like a new language. It was like another window of opportunity. And of course, you just mentioned here that you did a lot of your own research and started studying more because you knew there was something more to this. You knew that there was a key. There was something more for you to be able to take
Yeah.
advantage of in the industry. I need you to give a little overview of what the job market actually is for people who are thinking of going into it head on. What are the current job market uh, unique features right now in the blockchain industry?
Uh,
Talk to us.
Personally, I believe that no matter who you are, no matter who you are, what really matters in the blockchain industry is your level of skill or your percentage of luck or how lucky you are. Those two things really matter because you might have no skill, but you might be eventually lucky that you know someone that actually knows someone that gave you your first job, or you really have to be very, 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 very good enough. And one of the areas that I think is really like currently demanding in the whole ecosystem is security. And I think it's no one is talking about it, but trust me, that's like the future of blockchain because security is overlooked, and many of us think that we are secure until when the thief actually comes into your house, then you discover that you are not secure, and it's an untapped area. There are really few Web3 security experts. Even just there are even few Solidity developers or even blockchain developers. Then even the auditors or the security experts are even much more few. So anyone that can get into that early enough, the
Yeah.
future is really bright because that is just where the whole Web3 ecosystem is. Because with the new ETFs being approved, there's so much certainty that the big banks want to secure their wallets, and
Yeah.
we don't really know the amount of flaws in our security. So security would be one of the major things to actually look into as anybody that will be getting
Sure.
into Web3. Yeah.
So you mentioned security.
Yeah.
Which other area would you advise people go into?
Apart from security, I would advise that people go into I would say content creation as a developer, because currently as a blockchain developer, I can build on different blockchains. I can build on Rust, I can build on the Ethereum blockchain, on Solana blockchain, on the Ethereum blockchain. But one of my major issues in getting into any of these chains was that there wasn't enough content out there. So all the work is left on me to read a lot of documentations, and where I can't find documentations, I have to read a whole lot of code. And I remember there was a project I was to work on Cardano, and I had to reject the project. That was some few years ago, and that was because there wasn't almost any material to really solidify my knowledge of building on the Cardano blockchain. So I believe that as someone that wants to enter into Web3 as a developer, you focusing on creating content for Web3 developers, onboarding users into the aspect, onboarding developers into different blockchain is very important, because um, there's no way people can be innovative in the blockchain space if they are not educated properly, or if they're finding it hard to learn the tools that they can use to innovate. So it's very important that we have people creating chunks of content and just pushing it out there and let people just watch. And the funniest thing is that there's no matter how small you start or how big you start, there's someone watching your content. There are times when I need to solve an issue, and the video I actually watched, the person also have maybe like 10 or 4 5 followers, but the video released really solved the issue I've been facing maybe for like a week or two. So content creation is very important. Then I think lastly, onboarding. If you want to get into Web3, you want to focus on building things that onboard people. Like imagine that we have over 8 billion people, or over 8 billion people in the world, and we don't even still currently have up to permit my statistics if I'm correct, I don't think we have up to 1 billion people, or even over 1 billion people in the Web3 ecosystem. And all this is not because of anything, but Web3 is hard to actually understand. So if developers can come on board and create systems, we currently have systems, but those systems are not still enough. Imagine being able to onboard market women, illiterates, people don't have to be educated to actually know how to use. There's some people that are not educated, but they know how to use their phones, they know how to use their bank accounts, they have BVNs. So can we make blockchain as simple as that? And if we can have developers that can focus on those issues and create onboarding systems that can scale to anyone in the world. And I think especially Nigerians, if we can build a system that can onboard Nigerians into the Web3 ecosystem, I believe it should be it's a system that can work all over the world. Because in Nigeria, I think we have the highest rate of people that are poor, people that are uneducated. And if you are able to onboard a large number or a percentage of those people into the Web3 ecosystem, I don't think it should be that hard to onboard anybody from all over the world into coming into the Web3 space. So I believe onboarding is also one of the problems we're currently facing in the Web3 ecosystem.
Obviously, when people want to think career path, we're always advised to find gaps. And you just mentioned three. You said security is one. You said content creation was the second one. Then onboarding, which is very essential. It does feel like it's a bit far away at this point, since there are quite a few people that don't even have actual bank accounts. Talk less or talk more of going as far as getting them involved in Web3. But there is a way to simplify it, and hopefully we'll get there. It is still quite complicated, which is one of the reasons why we have this show, Blockchain Mastery Podcast, to sort of simplify some very complicated sounding topics. Now we're talking about freelancing versus full-time. Now, I know in the beginning you started freelancing. At any point, did you ever think you were going to go full-time?
I tried full-time, but the full-time wasn't like full-time like for a year. It was almost like I was like a contract staff. So I worked, I got paid, then. So, but currently I've been wiggling both being a contract staff, being a freelancer, being a contract staff.
So why is that? So why is that though? Why is it that as of 2024, a lot of people, just like yourself and essentially myself, are still thinking about this as a side hustle. They're thinking about going into it freelance. They're not going headfirst into it as a full career path. This is quite a few people, especially here in Africa. What do you think?
The thing is, if you look at especially in the Web3 space, the like I said, I talked about luck and I talked about you being very good. You being a freelancer, especially in the Web3 space, gives you access to luck. Gives you access to luck. And why do I say it gives you access to luck? I recently met a developer in which if I compared the skill level as my skill level and the skill level based on my experience, I think I had more experience in Web3 ecosystem than he does. But this guy is really doing a whole lot in the Web3 ecosystem. He has projects that are doing quite well. And it's all based on luck. And it happened that he was able to meet someone that actually introduced him to someone that they launched project together, and the project did a whole lot. So I believe that freelance gives us some kind of an hope of, something can happen one day, that I will eventually just meet something that will be a luck for me. Because if you're working in full time,
Okay.
it's a do or die affair. It's you have to be there in stand-ups. There's really no time for like exploration. If you have deadlines at work, it becomes a whole. Then you can get fired at any time. So, but the freelance,
It's about job security. It's about job security.
exactly. So, but
Okay.
yeah,
Job
but we freelancers now, or people that freelance, it's almost like there's an hope for a luck. There's an hope that something somewhere, one person will just come with the big cash, or would launch a project that will eventually do the $1 million, the $2 million, than me sitting down.
But you have to agree that going freelance feels like, eating your cake and also having it, because it's like you have a lot less of the responsibility and the risk when you go freelance. So it's like you're putting one toe in the water. You're not essentially going all in with everything, and then of course you can work on multiple projects at the same time. But then, how do you think working as freelance is going to build the industry if people don't go 100% into what they're doing?
I think freelance would build the industry in sense of it will allow us to build projects faster, or in the sense of if I have an idea and I'm not sure this idea will take off. I'm not certain this idea will take off. I'm not even sure if it is even worth the shot. It's nice to just just find a dev, find somebody, and they probably don't even know each other. Let's just work together for on this project, and let's see how it goes. Then if the project works well, we just simply retain everybody, and everybody can actually work in that regards, though. So the construction of the whole ecosystem currently in the Web3 space is so much built on freelance. Because, for instance, now if we should look at new projects that just recently launched in the Web3 ecosystem, we discover that they are done by people that we do not know. For instance, now the popular meme projects, different meme projects or stuff like that, is done by people that we do not even know. And because Web3 has that, we don't know the person, that exactly, that anonymity.
Yeah.
So it's easier to do freelance. It's easier to do freelance. I just do it and I'm done with the project. If it does well, that's good. If it does not do well, I carry my bag and go. So it gives everybody that let's just do it, and if it works, it works. If it does not
Freedom.
work, it does not work. So we are not tied down.
All right.
So we are not tied down to just
But let's see what. So you just talk about being tied down. No company wants to hear that anyone they're bringing on board feels like they're tied down with
true.
anything. But I know you've applied for these gigs before. What are the typical responsibilities? The typical things that you have to be involved in at the back end. If, for instance, you decided to go full time into blockchain development? What are those things that people are mostly running away from? Yes, there's freedom in freelance, there's less risk, and you feel like you start a project, you finish it, and you move on, right? There's that closure of, okay, you're done with this, you can move. But let's talk about the typical responsibilities involved with going full time into
Okay,
blockchain.
so the one of the issues that people run away from, or it's not really them running away. It's almost like let's just imagine that you launch a project, you did, let's say, $1 million in this project. The next thing you're thinking of is not to actually maintain the project. You're thinking of, can I launch another one? So I think one of the major issues we face when it comes to getting a job is no one wants to maintain a project. No one wants to maintain a project. People just want to create a project and go. So many of the times when I'm onboarded on some projects to work, I discovered that maybe the first developer that wrote the code just wrote the code in a very bad way, and so I have to now start working on the old chunks of code, maintaining the code. Then if I'm employed as probably the tech lead, now I have to maintain a whole lot of people. A lot of people that have had bad work attitudes. So now I have to be creating stand-ups. I have to, or maybe the startup, they employed a whole lot of people. I remember I worked for a startup once before they raised, where they had employed like over like 12 to 20 developers or 12 to 20 people in the dev team, and nobody was really doing anything, and they've been building for months and there was nothing they could show for. So by the time I got in on the project, I had to first cut away some people. I had to myself take on the old projects, maintain it, make sure everything was okay for the investors to be able to invest money in the project. So I think in the Web3 ecosystem, nobody wants to maintain a project. Nobody wants to maintain, and that thing, it's helping, but it's also killing the ecosystem in the sense of we are innovative to create more new ideas. We launch the ideas, but no one wants to see the idea to the end. Everybody just wants to create the idea. It makes you some few bucks and you leave it, but no one really wants to maintain
Yeah.
the project. No one wants to see, okay, how can we make it much more?
Because it's expensive? Because it's expensive to maintain? Is it because it's hard to maintain? Or talk to us.
They are depending on the kind of projects. Some projects actually lack the technicality. Some projects don't actually have the technicality of the developers to actually maintain the project. Some projects that do have the money are greedy. They're just like, oh, I do not want to maintain this project. We have made enough money, and
Okay.
sometimes the hype dies down in Web3. Hype dies down. So for instance, maybe now I was in a team where we launched an app sometimes last year. So we launched the app. There was a whole hype. Everybody was vibing with the app, and suddenly, so there was ginger to want to maintain the application. Then suddenly, the whole Web3 ecosystem just moved to another thing. Then the vibe to want to maintain, you are not sure if people are actually using what you are building. And I think that's one of like the greatest motivation to maintaining something, that okay, people are giving you feedback. Oh, we faced the bug today. Can you guys please fix the bug? You get, so I think that's one of the issues that it's affecting the ecosystem. Then some projects do not really have the money to actually do, because some projects that do not have the enough resources, especially when it comes to the Web3 ecosystem. It might look like as if it's easy to actually raise funds, but it's harder than it looks, because most of the investors are sending money through wallet address, and they don't know you from Adam. So, and if it was a centralized exchange, I can send you money. Your government has your BVN, your government has your identity number, your social security number. I can track you to anywhere and find you. But on the blockchain, if the investor sends you $10,000, if they send it to your wallet address, they don't know you from anywhere. You can suddenly send the money to another place and go with their money. So that is one of the things I think makes it hard for projects to maintain their innovation, since that some of them don't see funding, or it's hard to see funding, especially here in Africa. It's very, 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 very hard as an African to be able to see funding to maintain your project. Sometimes me and my friend, we were about to launch a project sometimes last year, and we needed to find a way to get a white person on board to act as the face of the company, talk on Twitter Spaces.
Why?
It,
Why specifically a
yeah,
white?
it's
I
yeah,
have to
it's
ask you.
it
Is it a standard? Is it something that's
or
expected,
it,
or what? Why a white
it's
person?
just like once you're on a Twitter space, I think you should try it out. Just go to a Twitter space,
Okay.
and once
Sure.
once white people, or once people generally see that, even Nigerians, we ourselves, once we see that the person that owns this project, or the person talking is a Nigerian, there's just this turn up that, oh, it's a Nigerian that owns the project. Oh, I'm not sure that this project will actually do well. But if it's a white person
Wow.
that owns the project, there's this it's
Wow.
just like few days ago. Yesterday, I was talking to I told a friend to let me talk to an influencer about a project, a side project I'm working about to launch. Then the next thing, one of the major focus of the influencer was like, the project belongs to a Nigerian. That, let's assume it was not a Nigerian that owns the
Wow.
project, that's a very different thing. But once people know that it's a Nigerian that owns the project now, they will not be that vibe. And I think it's a major issue when it comes to getting funding or people onboarding your project. So many of the times, many of my friends in the ecosystem have like 4, 5, 6, 7 Telegram accounts, just to be anonymous. If they've used
Wow.
this account once, they create another account to use again another time, because they have to just maintain that does that does the whole
I completely, I get it. I completely
yeah.
get it, and it's. I actually think it's a shame that the industry is still being limited by those ideologies. They're just some negative vices that some people have used the technology for, that has sort of painted it black. But there's so many opportunities within the space that need to be taken advantage of eventually. Now, I know you yourself, you're working on a project presently, on-chain links.
Yeah.
Yes, talk to us about on-chain links.
Okay. So on-chain links is a web extension that gives developers, content creators, and influencers the power for them to be able to earn or to get tipped by their followers or by people that want to support their project. So, for instance, now, as a developer, I built an open source project, and I probably need people to, I need people to fund or just tip me or just buy me a coffee on the project. So, what on-chain link will help you do is to create a link that you can upload on your bio, on your Twitter bio, and anyone can just use that link to tip you, send you money, or buy you a coffee. Or if you're an NFT artist and you don't have the expertise to actually create a website, you don't have the expertise to create a website, and you want people to mint your NFTs, what you can do is come to on-chain links. The contract address for your NFT collection, you paste it on the web extension, then it generates a link that anyone from your community can mint straight up from Twitter. And it's currently on base chain, and I urge people to actually try it out and use it. It's very nice. Especially if you're an influencer, you're a content creator, and instead of you waiting for Twitter to verify your account, or add the subscription button to your account, you can just simply add that tag, add that tag to your account. Then we're also even working on the feature where streamers can add the button to their stream. So as a streamer, you just need to put the tag in your stream link. Then automatically people that are watching your stream can tip you easily, instead of we don't know when each streaming platform will enable a button for tipping, but now you have a tipping button at your beck and call. So that's what we do at On-Chain Links.
Thank you so much for that. I am trying to, skim through the YouTube video that you
Yeah.
created here on chain links. So it's essentially a way to be rewarded,
Yeah.
I guess, for your content creation and conversations
Yeah.
and the like via Twitter, only Twitter, or via Twitter and streaming.
Via
Yes.
Twitter. The thing is, currently our MVP is focused on Twitter, but we are working on other
Okay.
social medias. So even for developers, if you're a developer, you have a developer blog or your GitHub. You want people to tip you via your GitHub. Then I think we're working on that also. We're working on that also.
This is Presently, this is on Google Chrome Web Store, so it's something you can download to your Chrome account as an extension on Chrome, and you can have it handy whenever you need it. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Enoch. The conversation, honestly, is it's a lot longer and deeper than what we can, take on this particular podcast. But let's talk advice now. Someone just jumping into this industry, maybe they've been doing their research, they've been studying. You've had experience. You've gone job after job, gig after gig. You've done full time. You've done part time. You've done freelance. What advice do you have for anyone who is jumping in for the first time?
My advice is just get good. Be good. Like, aside waiting on luck, just get good. I think that pays the most. I've been privileged to work with a whole lot of big crypto guys here in Nigeria and even in the world at large. And I've discovered that one of the sometimes me onboarding on their team and discovering that the previous developer did a lot of bad work, and me having to tell them, they always feel very pained that they wasted a lot of money. So I feel like if you'll be getting into Web3, focus on getting better. Just focus on getting better and getting good, and you are going to always beat luck. Because if you always want to focus on, one day I'll be lucky to know someone, you don't know when that would be. You might grow old and your luck might never come. But if you just focus on building and getting better day by day, learning, make sure you learn something new every day. If you're a Web3 person, be on Twitter, look for trends, learn something new every day, get better at what you do, learn new skills. The aim is just get better. Once you keep on getting better, it doesn't matter whether you are doing freelance or you are doing part-time. Once wherever you get to, you will just suddenly just become the best. Yeah, people just want to just make you their CTO, or they just want to just make you their person. Or if they have a new project, they always want to always call on you that, this guy, we launched a project with him before, he did so well, did the project well, he was able to deliver. Just become good is just my advice. Become good. That was my advice.
Thank you so much, Enoch, for your contribution today on Blockchain Mastery Podcast. I really have to appreciate you. If you're just tuning in, Enoch Daniel is a tech lead, CTO, and full stack blockchain developer known for his expertise in Web3 development and education. He has a diverse professional background spanning freelance work, company roles, Web3 consulting, and brings a wealth of experience to every project he has undertaken. And I can see he's probably doing like 2 or 3 other things while he's having this conversation with us now on his laptop. I don't know. But it's a pleasure to have you with us. Please don't be a stranger. See what you can do to send me a link to your LinkedIn so that I can connect with you if we have any more questions. And of course, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, make sure you subscribe hit the notification bell so that you don't miss another episode. All right, Enoch, I'm going to let you go now, but I have some blockchain news that I'm going to be giving now. So if you want to stay around, you can. Thank you so
Okay,
much,
thank you
Enoch.
very much. Yeah.
All right, then. So you heard it from someone who's been there, who's done that, who has bought the T-shirt and given it back at some point. Working in that particular space is not something people are familiar with. It's not like hearing experiences from a doctor or a lawyer. It's not like hearing experiences from a simple, normal SME entrepreneur. There's just a lot going on in the space that people still are yet to understand, meaning that we need to hear from people like this who have this experience. Thank you so much, Enoch, for joining us. But at this point, let me talk about what's happening in the crypto world before we go. What's happening in crypto today? Now, the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance has issued a document that aims to mitigate risks associated with DeFi protocols. Now, CryptoQuant CEO Ki Young Ju says the sell-off fears associated with Mt. Gox are still overestimated. Meanwhile, Mark Andreessen and Ben Horowitz, the co-founders of A16Z, they have reportedly thrown their weight behind presidential candidate Donald Trump. Yeah, we've heard a lot about Trump and his involvement in blockchain and even possibly being extremely invested in a particular coin himself. Hint, hint. If you find out what coin that is, please let me know. Send me in the comments so I can buy it because, yeah, people are buying a lot of what that guy is selling right now. But there is a lot going on with the new risk assessment guidelines for DeFi protocols. Now, the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance (EEA) has launched a version 1 of its decentralized finance risk assessment guidelines. Now, it's a document that is to identify and mitigate DeFi protocol risks. Now, the EEA's Drama Working Group developed the guidelines, collaborating with organizations like Consensus, Hacken, Certic, and QuantStamp. Even Open Zeppelin, Banco, Santander, Bitwave, and others. Now, this particular document is a resource for DeFi protocol regulators, developers, investors, users for risk identification. We talked a bit about risk today on the podcast, and it is a big deal. So provision of this document is giving strategies to manage these risks. And there was some explanation from the CEO of Hacken saying that the guidelines offer a comprehensive standard that resource founders and development teams can rely on while working on their products. And in Africa, we do kind of need some kind of template like that to work with, and hopefully it can work for people here as well. Now, DeFi risk assessment guidelines cover a range of risks relating to governance, tokenomics, software liquidity, regulatory compliance, and external market factors. And there was an interview on Cointelegraph. Charles Neville, director of technical programs at the EEA, explains that the working group proposes to maintain the guidelines, publishing periodic updates as necessary. It's specifically intended to respond to new threats and changes in the technology. So, yes, we have discussed threats already today, and we are trying to figure out how to mitigate those risks. So maybe a document like this might be handy if you and your company or maybe your startup are thinking of coming into the landscape. It's standards and regulatory landscape that needs to keep evolving as time goes on. Now, just a little bit more news. The impact of the Mt. Gox repayments on Bitcoin is being overestimated. Apparently, Bitcoin whales are set to stack more amid this overestimation about the Gox FUD. Now, back to CryptoQuant CEO Ki Young Ju as at July 16th. Ki said that the impact of the Gox sales, anywhere between $3 billion and $9 billion in BTC, is negligible compared to the total increase in the market capitalization of Bitcoin over the last 18 months. Now, even if Mt. Gox's $3 billion is sold on Kraken, it's just 1% of the realized cap. The increase in this bull cycle. Now, it's additionally, he noted that the price of Bitcoin was most vulnerable to speculation. That's fear, uncertainty, and doubt, perceived negative events, around perceived negative events, and less so on the fundamental selling activity behind it, which is key. He also said that while many investors were panic selling, the smart money will continually buy more Bitcoin. I mentioned Donald Trump a bit earlier on. Mark Anderson and Ben Horowitz, the co-founders of crypto venture firm A16Z, have reportedly thrown their weight and financial resources behind Donald Trump. Yeah, people are going to be Googling these guys a lot. And probably either investing or removing their investments from behind these guys. Well, when it comes to reports, it indicates that the venture capitalists plan to make a really large donation to the Republican ticket after Donald Trump selected J.D. Vance as his running mate. Anderson and Horowitz are said to be among several venture capitalists and technology executives committed to donating to pro-Trump America PAC. And so far, America PAC has raised nearly $9 million from Silicon Valley insiders. $9 million is going to do quite a lot for that campaign, if you ask me. Now, according to industry advocacy group Stand with Crypto, Vance strongly supports crypto, and the Republican senator from Ohio is said to own up to $250,000 in Bitcoin. Interesting stuff. So yeah, having a Trump Vance ticket go through in the elections might see further development in the blockchain space, maybe a lot faster, maybe a few less roadblocks in the space, but you never know. All right, then at this point, we have to wrap it up on Blockchain Mastery Podcast. A big shout out to everyone who's been part of it so far. If you'd like to be on the podcast sometime soon, it's not that hard. All you have to do is send an email to dynamitepodcastnetwork@gmail.com and we will get back to you. Please remember to like, subscribe, follow, comment, contribute, and let's help move this industry forward, because there are quite a lot of opportunities and possibilities for the future. Until next time, my name once again is Titi Oyinsan.